Protesters have taken to the streets, shouting "Free Victoria." Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, because we're going to talk about Free Victoria. Thousands of people took to the streets today, marching to the Shrine of Remembrance, screaming for the freedom to be returned Free Victoria, and for Dan to be held accountable. Now, as we can see here, people marching through the city, and we'll have a look at some of the different responses from different parts of the media and different observers. But we can just bring up here, we can see the people marching towards the shrine. So it was a big crowd of people, everyone. Freedom, freedom. So it wasn't a small crowd of people. You got a mix of people there, different ages, different groups, some wearing masks, some not, some with flags, protesting, understandably frustrated with the lack of freedoms that they have in Victoria. Compared to other states, they've been affected much worse than us. And then here's an image of where they got to the rally. Free Victoria, Free Victoria. You know, a significant media presence was there, but so many people were just, walking around with their phones, with their mobiles, with their cameras, recording this, capturing and sharing it out. Shame Daniel Andrews. We have here more people. Media is the virus. Well, people are concerned. I mean, there's a lot of fear pushed out there. Even now that people are talking about Sweden, they're having a second wave, they're looking at imposing these restrictions. Sure, case numbers are up, but their death numbers haven't spiked either. And people were understandably frustrated. They were understandably frustrated, but you can see here, and we'll have a look at just some young people lashing out at a police vehicle. You can see, I mean, I can imagine people are quite angry with the restrictions they've got. And so you can see a lot of people here pretty frustrated. We have another scene here of a man who has just come out of hospital, and of course they arrested him, took him away. How many police officers it is for an elderly man? You can't protest in Victoria, everyone. You can't have a peaceful protest. But, for one thing, it's good that people are getting politically active, which is fantastic to see. That in itself is good, that people are frustrated and are getting, activated to be politically involved and to express their opinion on a public platform. I think they ended up breaking his walking stick, the poor guy. So here you have the people marching towards it, and you had quite a significant police presence as well. There, I mean, you got the horses and everything, and it got violent. It got violent. Public order response, 401. I wonder if there are any of the new PSOs that are going to be deployed everywhere that will be used for crowd control. I mean, this is going to be remembered as Dan's legacy, everyone, as his political legacy. He can't back down. He can't stop. He can't stop. He's too committed. This is his legacy. He has to double down. He has to double down. So let's look at some of the different responses, how people are responding to this protest. And of course, we'll go to Twitter, which is, where everyone goes these days. So we've got some people here going, we should all be at a barbecue right now. What a cracker of a day. Thank you, Dan, Free Victoria. So, one bloke in Melbourne, Freedom March, had his priorities right. I should be at a barbecue. Well, yeah. Yeah, you should be. My heart is singing, Free Victoria, end the lockdown now. People are getting frustrated. This line is never ending. Despite hundreds and hundreds of officers around the Shine, police seem to have lost control of this pack. At 9 News. Dan, you pushed the people on the streets. This is all your fault. A Melbourne prisoner. Australians have finally had enough. Huge crowds disobey government orders and protest against the world's longest lockdown in Melbourne. Now, let's look at some of the Karens. The people who are frustrated. Thanks, Free Victoria, protest Melbourne, dickheads. I was on my way with my kids to Hungry Jack's as a treat, and they got to witness all your shite. View from across the road. First world problems, eh? You're lucky you can take your kids out like that. Maybe you can still afford to eat. Maybe you still have your job. Maybe you still have people in your house. Missy, Black Lives Matter. I love all the people tweeting Free Victoria Plus saying how important mental health is. You never cared about mental health. It was only until you felt a little sad that you decided to talk about mental health. Once this lockdown plus pandemic is over, you'll go back to not caring. Oh, well, judging by her Twitter picture, she's a stereotype. She's one of the stereotype perpetually depressed lefties. Black Lives Matter. What about their protests? You have the same things. Rushki, Free Victoria is an alternative hashtag for Spot the Turak Wine Mum. Complain about being imprisoned. Some more, please. Now, I don't know about you. Did you see any Turak wine mums and say this footage? Doesn't look like it. And aren't the Turak wine mums, aren't most of them like the socialist left, the Chardonnay sipping socialists? What about this footage here? Where are the Turak wine mums? No, I don't really see any. I see a few women there, but I don't instantly think of Turak. I worked on a project out there. What a bunch of sooks those overprivileged Free Victorian wankers are. Overprivileged, yes. Because being able to go out of your home and have freedom is a privilege, everyone. It's a privilege. This is the problem. This is the alternative. These are the people that will happily submit to authoritarianism. They don't appreciate what the Free Victoria people are standing for. They don't know the risks. This is how a country can vote itself in to authoritarian rule. People like this. Round them up and transport them to the showgrounds and isolate them for 14 days. Yeah, that doesn't sound scary at all. Victorian police are doing a better job. Victorian police are doing their best to keeping people more confined. I think they give themselves fines. It's a pity Victoria Police Command Tim Tully testified to Hotel Inquiry Vic overseeing quarantines was an ineffective use of police resources. Perhaps if they did what the other states did, these protests and 800 deaths wouldn't have occurred. That's a good point. Here's a tweet that someone shared. Do you support Dan? Add $1 to your to your order. Such and such has introduced a red surcharge of $1 to every order for those people who think Dan is doing a great job. These additional funds are much appreciated. Thank you. I like that idea. Put your money where your mouth is, comrade. And how's the media responding? How's the media responding? Here we have it. Chaos erupts on Melbourne streets. Melbourne CBD has thrown into chaos this afternoon with disruptions to traffic and violent scuffles. Protesters were on riot in Melbourne this afternoon, attacking police and causing mayhem. Police had to corner the violent crowds in the Sydney CBD after they ran amok for 3 hours. The anti-lockdown protesters threw bottles and punches at police and lit off flares. A massive effort is now underway to arrest and process offenders one by one. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has revealed Australia's states and territories, except for WA, have agreed in principle to get borders open by Christmas. Mr Morrison said today's National Cabinet meeting had been a successful one, with Australia's leaders agreeing to hopefully have all hard borders gone by the end of the year. Western Australia has a hard border in place, while Melburnians are banned from entering every state and territory. Mr Morrison said West Australian Premier Mark McGowan still had some reservations about reopening his state, but the PM was hopeful the entire country could be reopened by late December. I look forward to the continuing opening up, the PM said. And they've got more updates here. So, I mean, you can see people are frustrated. They're understandably frustrated. There are a lot of issues coming out of this, a lot of businesses getting destroyed. We're paying a hefty price for this, everyone. The Victorians are paying a very significant price for this. What do you think? Do you agree with the people who are supporting the protesters? Or do you agree with those that are calling for them all to be transported to the showgrounds and isolated for 2 weeks? Probably 24 days if you don't take the tests. What do you think? The very, one takeaway is people are frustrated and are getting active. Do you think Dan will get back in again? Or will all the frustrated people flee the state and drive up property prices in other cities? As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links you can find down below. Buy our merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. Use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.